Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folarin. My guests this morning are, relatively speaking, from a pretty far off place in the sense that they're not very near us. We're talking about all the way over in Benue State. And I have with me this morning Mr. Teva Akase. Mr. Akase is the Chief Press Secretary to Governor Ortom of Benue State. Thank you very much for coming on the program.
I'm happy to be here.
Indeed. And sitting right next to him is his colleague, and that's Mr. Bemba Ortom.
Yes.
Ah, you smiled. I got it right.
Yeah,
let me just let me go one more time. Bemba Ortom.
Yes.
Thank you very
Perfect.
much. Publicity Secretary of PDP in Benue State. You're very welcome.
Thank you.
And
Thank
now,
you so much.
what brings you guys to Lagos? Normally, you don't come. We're delighted to have you, by the way. But I also know your governor's in town.
Yes. Yesterday we came to Lagos to receive an award presented to us by the oldest surviving Nigerian newspaper, as the Nigerian Tribune. They recognized Governor Ortom for his efforts in security in particular. You recall that last year Benue came under heavy attacks, and it took the courage of the leader of the state, the governor, to mobilize, to support security agencies, to call for the intervention of the federal government, to mobilize all lawful means to end the killings. And today, Benue is relatively peaceful.
Okay.
So Nigerian Tribune found that worthy of recognition.
So we're talking about uncommon courage in governance.
In governance and defender of humanity. That's the title, that's the award.
Well, it's a pretty big sort of award and title. I mean, I would have wanted the governor to be here himself. He's in Lagos, so what gives? Why isn't the governor here?
Well, you see, part of the visit was to take a trip to the Redeemed program.
Christian Church of God
camp.
Okay.
Governor Ortom is a man who believes that God has been giving him everything that he has. And he quotes the Bible frequently that a man will receive nothing except it is given to him from above. Okay. He believes that whatever a man has, whatever you have, has to be given to you from above. So once in a while he takes time to remind himself that he's a child of God and God is the one who is doing everything for him. So now that he's in Lagos, he found that necessary to take a trip to that holy camp and pray to God on behalf of not just himself, but also of Benue people, to give glory to God for preserving the state and taking his people out of what was becoming not just genocide, it was becoming an endless massacre of the people. And today, the presidency also responded by sending Operation Wellstroke to Benue. And they have done a good job with the support of the Ortom administration.
Being military.
Yes, that's the military operation. Okay. Remember the first time it was Operation Ayema Patuma, and the government and people of Benue State said, no, we don't need an exercise. It was exercise Ayema Patuma. People said, we need a full military operation. And the federal government eventually did as the people demanded. And Operation Wellstroke came to Benue, and the rampaging herdsmen were repelled, were sent out of Benue. And our law, the Open Grazing Prohibition and Ranches Establishment Law,
commonly referred to as the anti-grazing law.
We don't call it anti-grazing law.
Say its formal name again.
Yes, that is what people say. But the name of the law is Open Grazing Prohibition and Ranches Establishment Law of 2017. Okay. That's the name of the law.
So on the one hand of the law prohibiting open grazing and on the other hand, establishment of ranches.
And we are not, the law does not target cows only. It's livestock breeding.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever.
pigs, and for us in Benue, we are
poultry,
looking.
anything,
We want
livestock.
to make, especially we want to make piggery. We want to make pigs the hub, Benue the hub of pigs.
Okay.
And that's a different thing. But when we talk about when we mention this law, it refers to all livestock.
Yeah, that point
Whether
has
you
been
have
raised.
pigs, goats, sheep, put them in a ranch. We don't want to see them on the streets.
So it's not about cattle.
Or Benue. It's
exclusively.
not just cattle. It's not just cows.
Okay, we'll come back and
livestock.
Okay, come back and talk some more about development. But let me just switch to Mr. Bemba, and I love that name, Mr. Bemba Ortom.
Thank you.
Let me switch to you.
Yeah.
Okay, you're the publicity secretary of PDP in Benue State.
That's right.
So how has it been? The governor, he decamped to PDP. How has it been since then? Between the party and the governor, are relations proceeding harmoniously? Are you guys happy with each other?
Yes. I mean, absolutely. Yes. The governor came over to PDP from the APC, and to a large extent, it was a homecoming. He had been in the PDP before. Yeah, his sojourn in APC was just a brief one, and we're happy that it was clear even to him and even to the people of Benue State that he actually didn't belong there. Because whereas he won elections as governor of Benue State in 2015 on the platform of the APC, the actual quality of governance that he could deliver to the people of Benue State wasn't in the right frame. It wasn't at the right levels. Salaries were not being paid while he was in the APC. He had a lot of difficulties even in putting his policies on stream. And it was one form of crisis to another. And the end result was hardship on the people of Benue State, despite the fact that it was clear to see that he had been someone who had been tested previously at the various levels of public administration in this country. He was a national official of the PDP as national auditor, and from there he was appointed a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, so he had the right levels of experience, but he couldn't bring that properly to bear on the actual act of governance why he was in the APC.
It's an interesting theory that you present, that the man is there, the quality is there,
yes,
and you seem to be suggesting that
the platform wasn't right.
That it was the platform that was wrong. It was the platform that was
wrong.
I see.
Yes.
It's a very interesting thing. If because you mentioned the whole salary paying thing.
Epileptic it was.
So how is that a matter of one party or the other? Isn't it the conditions in the state? Isn't it the economic conditions in the state?
We can't say that, because if it were on account of the economic conditions, then how come they changed? How come the whole scenario changed the moment he crossed over to PDP? Because on the platform of the PDP now, he hasn't owed even a single month.
So what did PDP do? Did PDP open their own coffers to him that, look, should there be challenges within, don't worry, as a party, we're behind you, tell us how much you need?
The structure is simply different. In PDP, the governor is allowed to do his job. The governor is not required to be under the strictures, be under the inhibiting controls of perhaps a godfather somewhere. In PDP, it's a people's-oriented sort of approach to governance that we have.
The so-called godfather syndrome.
No godfathers in PDP.
No,
not at all. We have a college of leaders in PDP, and their target at all times is for the party to deliver good governance to the people by leading the administration that is under its sponsorship in the right way. And so the governor came back to PDP, and from the very first month that he crossed over to PDP, to this very point, salaries have been paid.
Yeah, but isn't that
if there are issues of arrears, then there are arrears that were inherited from the APC era, and those he is still, working to ensure that they
Oh,
are
you're really
taking
knocking APC this morning.
care of.
But because
I'm not knocking them, just
yeah,
stating
yeah,
facts.
no, because they're not there to speak
I'm
for
just
themselves.
stating facts.
But you're stating the facts in your state as you
Yes,
see it and as
yes.
you have the
And
right
that-
to. But there's nobody, you see, but as you are bringing the whole thing to PDP's head, they didn't pay salary. You somehow
APC's head, APC's head.
Okay, APC's head.
Yes.
You've somehow managed to link epileptic, as you called it, salary payments
Yeah.
to his previous party. And now that he's moved to his new political house, so to speak, he doesn't have that problem.
They are verifiable facts. You can verify that. Even if anyone, if the APC national chairman
An
were
interesting
here,
proposition you made
he wouldn't be able
and
to
one of the
counter
reasons
that.
you allude for this success, quite interesting, is that he doesn't have godfathers to contend with.
No such inhibitions, no such roadblocks.
Mr. CPS, I can see that you've just been smiling. This whole matter of roadblocks and godfather and, most importantly to the people of Benue, I'm getting my pay now, the money is coming. How come that is possible? Because it has been mentioned.
Honorable Ortom has captured it rightly, and perhaps what I'll add is that yes, the issues of a godfather breathing down the neck of the governor was always there.
In your exclusive case in Benue State.
But I would not dwell
Since you say so.
much on that. The truth is that the challenges were also real, and
Could I
we are
forgive me for interrupting you?
Yes.
But I do want to take Farouk, who has called in from Abuja. Good morning, Mr. Farouk.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in.
How are you?
Very well, thank you. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I just want to make a comment. I don't know that in traditional wear, his major reference to APC, which we are not comfortable with. When people sit down and start telling lies, or Yori, I will when I invite you should always come, you always invite opposition to defend themselves. We can't just telling lies, national. You understand? We have Benue people here in Abuja, even they are here in Abuja. I'm not saying somebody on lie. I'm not comfortable.
Farouk, I beg your pardon. The line is not very good, but I have heard you say you are not comfortable of the submission of the gentleman. I think you also take exception to the comparing APC unfavorably with PDP, and then you also, I think I heard you say that we should bring the two together when there's an opportunity. That much I heard. You're very right. But as you heard from the top of the program, I agree with you. As you heard from the top of the program, they happens to be in Lagos. It wasn't planned. So, but that is without prejudice to the truism that you have said. But we're hearing it from them, and we'll also hear it as we usually do from the other side as well. But for now, it's like they have the floor, and this is the way they see it. But when you say it is a lie, could you just put it in a very, very short sentence, because the line is not very good? Oh, he's even gone. I wanted to ask him to point out, the lie as he saw it. And when he was saying we, I'd probably imagine that he's not from PDP. I just guess. He didn't talk about his membership. He says we, we're not happy about that. So, that's that. Now, security is what I wanted to come back to.
Okay.
And we hope that lines will be good for people who want to comment. Okay, call it governance in Benue State. Actually, as I just explained to that gentleman, you people happen to be in town. It's not that we sat down and wanted to discuss about governance and you said the real reason that you're in town, or the main reason, two things. One, Governor Ortom, who I expected we'd have the privilege of being able to chat with. He's in Lagos right now, but he's at the camp.
Yes.
He's at the Redeemed camp. I think there's an annual thing that goes on, and so he's part of that. He's a pious gentleman. In fact, that brings me to the other thing about him. I think he has also said in the state that he's going to hold crusades in each of the 23 local governments. And you were talking about he's a man who is very, very close, as it were, to his maker, and is always attributing all success to the above. This is also part of it. He said he's going to hold a crusade in every state. The other time I heard him say that CAN, Christian Association of Nigeria, should come together, and that he was about to distribute free grains to widows, and that he wanted CAN to be sure that there was no favoritism and that it was spread over all the denominations.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, when he said that, he wasn't actually saying that he would lead crusades to the 23 local government areas. There is Christian Association of Nigeria in Benue State, and the government of Benue relates very well with CAN in Benue. And each time there is a problem, the Ortom administration believes in calling on God to help, as much as he does the political and the physical aspect of tackling that problem. He also solicits the collaboration of CAN to tackle it spiritually as well. So it's an ongoing thing that the people of Benue should draw closer to God, and CAN has been doing a lot under the leadership of Reverend Akpenleva, has been doing so much to help our people understand that some of the problems do not necessarily have to be fought on the physical. You need to also bring the spiritual aspect of it.
I think that's part of the something about defender of humanity, peace and tranquility. Exactly. I'm going to continue because there still are some IDP camps. I'm going to ask about the relations between you and the different neighbors that you have, whether that has improved or not. In the meantime, Mr. Yakub, good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Secretary.
Thank you.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Good morning to you again.
Yes.
Good morning.
Secretary, I think you do respect to your Mr. Bangba, if I'm correct. I don't know, maybe I pronounced the name.
It doesn't, yeah, the PDP publicity secretary.
Thank you very much. You see, I want him to know something. No matter platform that someone uses to get a position of political office, it does not matter. The personality of that person occupies the office matter more. When you compare the era of Dr. Ortom in APC and now in the PDP, and then you made us to know that when he was APC, the platform was not giving him opportunity to do right, if I'm correct. But having said that, I don't believe so. During the time of Governor Ortom in APC, if I'm correct as well, it is only Lagos State and one or two other states that was not given the bailout then. And then, if I'm correct as well, the bailout was given to him that time. Are you telling me, with due respect, are you telling me that the money that was made to be able to run the affair of that particular state then, it was shared with it among the political gladiator or the godfather in that state? Because if you are compare Ortom in APC, and then we are compared Ortom in PDP, I don't think it's right. I don't think we are there to do that. The dividends of democracy that he was able to give now, it does not necessarily mean that he was not given free hand to do that then. But it depends on his own personality because everything stops on his table. So if anybody tells you, as executive governor of the state, that he should do the wrong thing, you not take your decision to do that or not to, because at the end of the day you have yourself to blame. In fact, I was even surprised that he was re-elected. Why? Because then he was not be able to manage that state very well. He got all lots of salary. But he did not say because it's electricity. I think it's totally wrong.
Okay. So, all right, Yakub, you've registered.
Just let him explain. If he didn't give him the money to the godfather or he shared the money to within the APC member.
Okay.
Thanks and God bless.
Thank you very much.
He has really aggrieved. But I think that he has the right to say what he has just said. But I believe he's not from Benue and he has not been to Benue in the past 5
I
years.
wonder if the gentleman who called first, Mr. Farouk from Abuja, is from Benue, but it's just an aside. Unfortunately, the
They
line wasn't
appear
good.
to be so angry over the statements that the public secretary of PDP
Those are
in Benue
statements
State
I can
said.
defend.
Well, I was going to say that we as a government, we don't dwell so much on that because the responsibility of governance rests on the shoulders of the governor. So the party has the right to say these things the way the party says it. I will speak as the mouthpiece of the governor. Yes, the challenges of 2015, 2016, 2017 were real. Nigeria itself went into a recession, and there were no monies there to tackle all the problems, salaries, and other projects and so on. So yes, the issue of godfathers was there that you couldn't take away. But
and we've established that there's no such
yes,
thing
yes,
in
but
the
but,
PDP.
but
There's no such thing as godfathers in the PDP. It's like we agreed on that.
yes, and
yes.
the distractions, yes, you
No
can't.
no distractions, no
You
godfathers
can't,
in the PDP.
that you can't separate from the reality of Benue, as it were.
What is that? What is it that we cannot separate from the reality of
What
Benue?
I'm referring to the comments that the publicity secretary made, which have drawn the anger of our brothers
Yeah, but
who have called him.
because the publicity secretary did opine that there's no problem of godfathers
so
and distraction in Benue State.
The point,
And I stand by
the
that.
point here is that, yes, he talked about bailouts and so on. But if you look at the wage bill of Benue,
Yes.
Benue is paying the third highest salaries in this country.
That's a fact.
And we have the statistics. Lagos pays the highest, followed by Rivers State. Benue is number 3. The wage bill of Benue is number 3. And Benue is paying the highest salaries in northern Nigeria. These are facts that we have taken statistics from
Yeah, but
all
you weren't able to pay.
you
You weren't able to pay it in spite of the bailout. Is the point that Yakub was making?
Yes, see, at the time that the bailout came, only pensions and gratuity were up to the tune of 69 billion.
So you were overwhelmed, quite
yes.
frankly.
So
financially
what can you
overwhelmed.
do? What can you do with 28 billion?
Let me come back if you want to continue
With a
with
wage
this.
bill of 4.2 billion only at the state level and 3.7 at the local government level, and you have 28 billion for the 2 tiers. So what can you do with 28 billion? This money could not pay up to how much can you pay? 3 months, 2 months. Benue pays the highest salaries in northern Nigeria. What a director in Benue State takes is higher than a director in all the states of northern Nigeria. And if you spread that to the lowest cadre, the lowest civil servant, you see the impact of what I'm saying. So when people sit and say Benue, 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 look, the challenge of salaries in Benue is not just what 28 billion can do for the state and the local government. So this issue of bailout.
You wanted to put it in that context.
We put it out in public. We publicized how much that money was used, how it was used to pay salaries at the state level and the local government level.
And then subsequently, the payment has become more regular.
And the workers knew it. That is why they didn't protest.
Okay.
The NLC and TUC
I
were
want to
part
thank
of
you,
it.
Emmanuel, over in Otukpo, for holding on all that while. But I wanted the CPS to land. So good morning, sir.
Good morning, Chief Yuri.
Thank you for calling in.
Good morning to my brothers in the studio there.
Okay.
Good morning.
Maureen.
They're my brother from Benue State too, and I'm happy with their contribution.
Thank you.
Chief Yuri, I want to say that of the truth, our governor is very cordial with most of the men of God in Nigeria, ranging from Kumui to Deboye to Paul Enenche and the rest of them. And he is a lover of the Bible, truly. But there's a popular saying that food does not make a monk. So it's our heart that is most important when it comes to God, because it is an individual thing. At the end of the day, when you die, you are alone with your maker. So it's my appeal to my governor that as he is in the camp, we should let the Spirit speak to him and let him continue to chart the way of holiness. the speakers in the studio there, what they have said is not far from the truth. This year, 2019, the date, the governor is up to date with the salary. He has not owed any money. But the snag is the 2017 5 months arrears that have not been paid. And they have said it was when he was an APC governor. So it is left for the APC now to come and clear themselves. Why, as a party, they could not allow their governor to pay salary. So as a PDP governor, the date 2019, the governor is up to date with his salary. That is the truth.
All right.
So APC should come and clear the air. Thank you, and God bless Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel. And we will stay with us, please. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We'll continue to take your calls after this. Okay, welcome back. I'm talking about Benue State with a couple of big men from the place, in the person of the Chief Press Secretary, Teva Akase, and that is Chief Press Secretary to Governor Ortom, who is in Lagos, which is what brings him to Lagos, and indeed, the Publicity Secretary of PDP in the state, Mr. Benga Ortom.
Yes.
Mr. Benga Ortom.
Yes.
Talking about security, well-being and security, there have been issues of not ethnic clashes, crisis. The crisis between the Tiv and the Jukum, are those things of the past? Are those old stories? And then the clashes with herdsmen as well.
Yes.
And I'm going to link that to the fact that there are still a few IDP camps in Benue.
Yes.
So what would be your assessment of the security situation to a non-Benue indigene, or somebody who is listening to this but hasn't been to Benue? Is it good? Can Benue be visited safely? What's life like? Commercial life, social life?
Okay, yes. The award given to Governor Samuel Ortom yesterday has largely to do with the security situation in Benue State, because the component of Defender of Humanity refers to the efforts he has been making as regards the peace and security situation in the state. Yes, as a citizen of that state, as an indigenous of Benue State, the security situation there, the peace in Benue State, at the present level, commendable. It's not what we had in the past, particularly when the problem of herdsmen attacks against innocent citizens in that state.
That has virtually disappeared, right?
Yes.
That has virtually disappeared.
It hasn't disappeared in the strict sense of the word disappear. We have what we may refer to as a cessation in terms of killings and attacks on villagers. But this could largely be attributed to the fact that most of the villagers and most of the people in the areas where the herdsmen attacks were most prevalent are now marooned in IDP camps. We still have IDP camps in Benue State. And the natural question one would ask would be that if peace has returned to Benue State, then why do we still have people camped in IDP?
Because IDP,
yes,
in case anybody doesn't know, is
it's
internally displaced persons camp. So there are Benue citizens
living in IDP camps for years now.
So let me ask the CPS. If the governor were to say, of course, he'd take that, but you probably must know the thoughts of the administration on this. First of all, is it much better? It's undesirable that there still are camps, but could you give us some data? How many were there? How many are there now?
Well, the challenge that Benue had in terms of the invasion and the killing of people resulted in the displacement of more than 500,000 people in various communities in about 14 local government areas of Benue State. And at the end of the statistics, close to 200,000 were in 8 camps. Precisely 180,000 were in 8 camps as at March 2018. Now, that number increased drastically towards the end of the year, and the resources of the state were overwhelmed, and that's why we kept calling on the federal government and the international organizations to come in and assist, because the children were so many in number. Pregnant women were chased into the camps, and some of them were giving birth in the camps, and the state provided health facilities and even some makeshift schools so that the children do not lose entirely.
Yes, but the state couldn't assure them of the safety they required to return to their homes.
You know, when you talk about safety, that is where the state can only support security agencies. The governor is not the commander of the security agencies.
One moment, please. I have someone on the phone. Forgive me for interrupting you. Mr. George in Ikeja. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you for calling in.
And greetings to the guests from Benue State.
Yes.
Good morning.
Uncle Yori, I find the statement made by the PDP publicity secretary, I find it difficult to digest. He's saying that the governor is not able to perform or was not able to pay salary because of the platform he was operating from. We all know Governor Suswan was a PDP governor, and he owed 19 months' salary. I think that was one of the reasons why he lost his election, that APC was able to win the state. And he said PDP does not have godfathers. What about Mr. Fixit? The popular Mr. Fixit, who has passed on now. He was in the PDP for so many years, and he was the godfather of that party. We have to say the truth when talking to the public. If the governor could not pay salaries as a governor under one party, and is now able to pay salaries as a governor under another party, you are blaming the party, and you are not blaming the person. How am I able to, if you bring a primary school child and give him that, he will not be able to decipher it for you. That the same person is the governor at one time under one party. Because of his party, he could not pay salaries. Then when he went to another party that is not at the center, when he was in the party that was in control of federal money, he couldn't pay salaries. Now that he has come to a party that is not in control of federal money, he is now paying salary. How are you going to justify that? There's a limit to politics. That is that, Uncle Yori. Please, I want to ask the Chief Press Secretary a question.
Mm-hmm.
There's a friend of mine that lives in Makodi who told me that since after that incident of killing, that there is a sense of, there's something in the air that Fulanis are not welcomed in Benue State. I want to ask him whether the governor in any way gives approval to that kind of sentiment and whether it is true. Because he is on ground and he told me this as an observer. Thank you.
Thank you for calling in, Mr. George.
Yori, if you permit me, this is a very important question that he just put, and I want to thank him for this question. It is the impression that people have got about Benue and the law, the ranching law that we have on ground. And we want to correct this impression. The law that we have does not prevent people from coming to Benue to do business, including animal husbandry. It's a law that permits people to go into, in fact, it encourages people to go into animal husbandry, no matter where they come from, no matter which tribe, no matter whatever language they speak. It's a law that protects the farmer and the herder. But the law says, do not move your animals on foot. If you want to move your animals from one place to another, move them by trucks to your ranch. Now, the Fulanis live in Benue, especially those who...
As they live in other places.
Exactly. The Constitution of Nigeria gives every Nigerian a right to reside anywhere. And no state law is superior to the Constitution. And Benue State is aware of this. Benue couldn't have made a law that we infringe, that we run contrary to the Constitution of this country. Now, that impression is wrong. And we want to tell Fulanis across this country that Benue does not prevent them from coming to the state. The only thing that Benue is saying is that if you have cows or sheep or goats or rams, whatever you have, if you want to breed them in Benue, seek the permission of people. If you don't have land already in Benue, contact those who have the land. They will give you permission. They take your request to the state governor, who approves on lease for 1 year. Now, you run a ranch, you put your animals there, and seek renewal of that lease the following year. You can live there as much as possible, provided you live according to the law. But if you graze your animals openly and they run into people's farms, of course the livestock guards are there to impound them. This is very clear. The law does not prevent anybody from coming to Benue. We want the Fulanis to see.
So that law will be enforced, is what you are saying.
It is being enforced.
It is being enforced,
and
will continue to be.
Those who
but you don't want it to be misunderstood or misinterpreted.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the important thing.
They shouldn't misinterpret this law. This law does not stop people from coming to Benue, even with animals.
One moment, please. I got to take Mr. Joshua in Irewole, Ogun State. Good morning, sir.
Okay, good morning.
Thank you for calling in.
And I also welcome your guests.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate what they are doing. I just know that Nigeria is first and should be first in the heart of all of us. Benue is a state in Nigeria. Even our different religions. So if we can focus on this single narrative of seeing Nigeria as first, is going to help us in a lot of ways. The Benue politics, whatever, I would only add this word to whatever they are saying. I think Benue is an agricultural state. That's what we have known them for. This wage bill that tend to make the state number 3 in the nation highest wage bill, or I think it's not neither here nor there for me. I think they should look at that structure. I would have loved that they are the highest investing state in agriculture, rather than paying civil servants. I know their civil servants could double as farmers, but if Benue focuses very well on agriculture, they will do well by reducing the wage bill, right? I think more people should be on the farm than pursuing carrying files. And what is there in government job? Carrying files is political settlement, so to say. So let them focus on developing the strength of Benue so that it will be a good narrative for this governor, and that's the way to move Benue up. I really appreciate everything, and I think they are doing well.
Thank you very much.
Yori, if you permit me in just 1 minute.
Because I wanted to ask
investments
in agri.
Great. I want to agree with him and to say that we are already doing that. For the first time, Governor Ortom brought Bank of Industry to Benue State, and the government of Benue put 1 billion on the table. The BOI put 1 billion. So 2 billion now for loans to entrepreneurs. And the government of Benue has waived its 5% of that loan, which entrepreneurs of Benue are to obtain. This is to encourage people to access loans and start business. Secondly, the government has reduced the cost of obtaining COO to 50%.
You just said the government has waived its 5%.
Waived its 5%.
What does that mean?
What it means is that the interest would have been 10%. 5% to BOI, 5% to Benue State government. Okay. So the Benue State government said, look, for us to encourage our people to go into farming,
to make the loan less expensive.
Less expensive, let's waive our 5%. So only 5% is paid to BOI to obtain that loan. And the government has gone ahead to cut down the cost of obtaining COO, which is going to be collateral for that loan, by 50%.
Oh, again, all of this to encourage investment.
Good, so that people will have the procedure of obtaining the loan will be less cumbersome, and this has encouraged people. And then the government is also going into vocational. The governor recently visited Brazil, and one of the things that we came away with is that he has come back and set up a team to look at how we can encourage our people to go massively into vocational training.
All right.
And already, the government has built 3 gigantic entrepreneurial development centers, one in Makudi, one in Ado, one in Goma. And already, people are being trained in these centers.
Okay, well, that's what I wanted to ask.
To give them skills. So this issue that he raised is very important, and we are already looking at that to see how we can take people away from white-collar jobs. I mean, the emphasis on white-collar jobs into agriculture, into entrepreneurship.
Okay.
So we are doing that, and these are the innovations that Ortom is
One second, please, because Anthony in Benue State has been holding on for a while. I thank you, sir. Apologies.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir.
My name is Anthony. I'm a first-time caller. I've been trying to reach.
Oh, we're delighted to have you. You are
Uncle Yori, I really like to speak. I'm from... Hello? Okay, yes. I'm from Benue State. And I'd like to thank the gentleman in the house.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll say 2 things and then I'll leave Uncle Yari.
All right.
The first thing I'd like to say is I don't know why our people elected into position always feels like their first priority is to pay salaries and then it becomes an achievement. None of my family circle member is a civil servant in the Benue State. And generate ideas for this. I've been taxed, and every family member of mine is. I dared my brothers in the house to tell me in the last 4 or 5 years if there is any capital project that has been initiated, completed, and maybe commissioned that can better the life of an average citizen of Benue State that is not a civil servant. So I'd like to say that paying salaries is not the major achievement of any government. They should look at agriculture like the other caller just said. And then secondly, Uncle Yori, I respect this program a lot, and I depend on it for valuable information. Apart from your view on this program, these are the 2 programs I always look forward to getting information. And I'd like to advise, I'm talking to you, Uncle Yari, please, with due respect, that if people come on the program, you have some statistics as well that can measure up with what they say so that they can align and millions of viewers will not be misinformed. I'd like to thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Anthony.
Well, I don't know what he means by capital projects. Okay. Before he came on, I gave statistics that Governor Ortom has built 3 gigantic entrepreneurship development centers in the 3 zones of Benue. 1 in the capital city, 1 in Ado, 1 in Goma. Now, these centers are going to take away people's attention from white-collar jobs. Yeah. I don't know what you mean when you say capital projects. But now, states are moving away from this idea of build something, then another government comes and it is described as a white elephant project. For instance, you build a complex that is bigger than TVC by 3 times, and then another governor comes and says, no, we don't want that. Is that what people want? The governor has built roads, which are very important in the economic life of Benue State.
Benefiting everybody.
He's training people in entrepreneurship. That is where governments are going all over the world. Recently, he was in Brazil and had partnership with Santa Catarina State and the other states. So,
well, let's talk about that entrepreneurship training that you talked about.
Yes.
How? What? The entrepreneur.
Now I have told you already.
Centers that you were talking about.
I have told you already that the government has brought BOI to Bank of Industry to give loans. This was the first step to take. Now, if you train people in skills, give them skills, and you don't empower them, that's a time bomb. So you have done nothing. So the government brought BOI and is collaborating with BOI to give loans after this training in the centers that I have mentioned. More are going to be built. These people should be able to access those loans and start business. All right? Now, this is development. It is not only when you you raise a structure that is many meters high without any furnishing, and you dump it there, that my friend there maybe is asking for capital project. Well, if he is asking for capital project, those centers I have mentioned are so big, he can go and take a look at them. The governor has built roads. The governor is reviving hospitals. The governor has done secondary schools in Benue. 64 of them are all going to be given a facelift. So far, many have been done, and what we are doing is that general hospitals in Benue State are 23. The next phase, the government is going to. We can't go and start building new hospitals when we already have one in each
because
state.
As you are mentioning these things, these are the kind of things you probably had in mind.
Yes, so but efforts have already been done. 740 schools have new blocks have been built in 740 projects, school projects have been done in Benue State. Okay. If you go to primary schools in Benue now, you will see new blocks in most of the schools in collaboration with the Universal Basic Education. All right? Now, I don't know what he means by that, but
he's from Benue. He's from Benue, so and that was just his say.
It's certain that he has not visited Benue in the last 5 years. Because if he does, he would have seen that in each public primary school now, there are new blocks. And the governor's policy on education is that he will make tertiary institutions strong, secondary institutions stronger, and primary institutions strongest.
Okay.
Now that's why the state university is receiving attention that it has never received before since Governor Ortom came on board. Doctors were in training for 12 years and they did not graduate. Ortom came and made sure they got accreditation. Okay. And now Benue is graduating doctors. The School of Nursing was down for 4 years. Now it is back, accredited fully, and new admissions are being made. Now, that is addressing the health sector. Governor Ortom has built 42 primary health centers in different communities of Benue State. That my brother needs to go to Benue and see these things because they are in the communities. And in each center, there is solar borehole provided so that the community people can also benefit from it. So he needs to go home and see these things. Because perhaps he needs to define
he goes beyond
what he means by
salary.
Capital. Yes.
Because he was saying salary. No, I got to go back. What are the cardinal principles of, the way the PDP works in Benue State? People know different parties, different cardinal principles. So what's
Basically, because I'm sure you're looking at your watch now, the time is not on our side anymore. Basically, PDP in Benue State, like it is nationally, because we don't have a separate set of manifestos in Benue State from what we have at the national level. People's-oriented governance, people's-oriented public institution leadership, and that manifests in several ways. Okay. And
you're satisfied that Governor Ortom, he's doing good. He's doing great.
The relationship between Governor Ortom and PDP in Benue State is excellent. In fact, yesterday while we were here in Lagos to collect the awards, he came in with the state chairman of the party, Sir John Mbede, who came along with him, and back home in Benue State. At every point, there is always consultation between the governor and the party towards what decisions should be taken that will be in the best interest of the state.
Wow.
And so it's working out. And when I say that Ortom in PDP is different from Ortom elsewhere, I'm not just talking politics. I'm speaking reality. Okay, I'm talking about facts, which can be verified.
Thank you very much for coming
You're
along,
welcome,
Mr. Bengba
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very, very much for coming along. And also appreciation and gratitude to the Chief Press Secretary to Governor Ortom, Mr. Teva Akase. Thank you very much,
You're welcome, sir.
for coming here.
It's been a pleasure.
Perspectives.
Yes,
My
thank
pleasure.
you.
So that's our program. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I'm Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.